Happy New Year, everyone. By the time this video releases, it should be January 1st, 2026. And for a little New Year's treat, I decided we should do another unboxing. So today we got the Tenable Bömbur. And like I said in the last video, through the first of the year, as we try to revamp this channel, we're going to start with some knife content before we go back into firearms. Last time with the QSP Penguin, I did cheat a little bit and I looked at the knife beforehand. I have not looked at this knife. So this is going to be straight out of the box, and we're going to experience this knife together for the very first time. So we're going to jump right into it. First of all, with the box. The box is okay. Basic details about the knife: Stonewash D2, black and red G-Mascus, which is a G10 that Tenable does, that looks similar to Damascus if you were to make it out of G10. Well, the box it's a little bit underwhelming, but you know, we don't buy the box, we buy a knife, so we're going to check out the knife itself. Alright, first things first, silica gel packet. Pretty standard. So you have a microfiber cloth that comes with the knife, branded with Tenable. That's a nice little touch. And your paperwork. Fascinating. Looks like it shows kind of a few pictures of how the knife is made. Their Instagram, Facebook, so their social media plugs. Got a use and care guide, release agreement, what Tenable will do with the warranty, what's covered, limited lifetime warranty. Okay, so hopefully you never have to use that, but it's there if you do. And there's nothing else in the box. Let's get on to the main attraction. So for those of you that don't know, the Bömbur is hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, is a Midgards Messer design. It's probably one of the few real Midgards Messers that you can get, or at least real design. You can get under $100 that is, you know, true to what a Midgards is. Something large and overbuilt. That is a freaking massive knife. Look at that thing. That thing is absurd. That thing is absolutely absurd. That's awesome. So right off the bat, it is a massive knife. Try to open it. Surprisingly opens relatively easily. The action is smooth. That's a tank. It's a tank of a knife. You have a massive blade profile, and that is thick. That is absolutely thick. Definitely is reminiscent of Midgards Messer. Seems to hold true to their design. It's a lot of oil that comes on the blade. I don't know if you can see it very well, but the whole blade is covered in this sheen of oil. It's the Midgards Messer maker mark right there, and that is the Tenable mark right there. That's just a massive blade. D2 blade steel. How does it feel in the hand? It feels pretty good for a large knife. The pocket clip, I thought from some other reviews I saw, would not be very comfortable in the hand, but honestly I don't notice it that much just because the knife is so massive. Let's get a close look at those scales. And that is their, what do they call it? The G10 Damascus. G-Mascus. So that is the G-Mascus scales. They feel pretty good. I mean, they feel like a decent quality G10. I do like the texturing on them. The blend of black and red is pretty cool. I think that is on washers. I don't believe it to be bearings. Fin and finish is pretty good for a budget knife. Just go for about 80 to 90. It is a cool knife, and I've always wanted something Midgards Messers. I've never been able to afford their price tag. Very cool knife. and it is very smooth. To be just so beefy, I mean, that's a heavy blade. So the pocket clip, I like the design of the pocket clip. I think it looks cool. Like I said, just because it's such a big knife, you kind of have, you know, some space to wrap your hand around. The pocket clip doesn't seem to bother me. I know it bothers a lot of people. It's kind of a thin liner lock for how big of a knife it is. Absolutely massive knife. Let's go ahead and compare the size to some other knives that I have. First of all, classic medium-sized slip joint. It's kind of funny. Next, let's do the QSP Penguin from the last video. Just dwarfs it. I mean, I would consider this a good medium-sized knife. It's not large, but, you know, it's not small either. I've got pretty large hands, and I can get a full grip on that, so that's a good medium-sized blade. And that just dwarfs it. I mean, it's comical how large it is. Next, I'm going to compare it to the Spyderco Tenacious. I'd consider this on the larger side of a medium-sized knife. Fits the hand very well. I'm not going to do it on the other side just because it has my name and I don't want to dox myself. Once again, the Bömbur is just massive. And if you look at the stock of the blade too, just how thick it is no comparison. Finally, let's compare the Bömbur against a knife a lot of knife guys will know and love. A lot of them do not. A little bit of a controversial pick, but the Benchmade Adamas, formerly my largest knife that I own, folding knife at least. I mean, everyone knows the Adamas is a tank. It's definitely a large, well-built knife, but it is 100% a tank. This is the Auto Adamas. It is the full size. Just a massive knife, but not compared to the Bömbur. This thing is ridiculous. I mean, and I say that in the best of ways. If you look at the blade thickness, it's no comparison. The size, I mean, the Bömbur is just an absurdly large knife. Alright, let's move on to the cut test. As always, first part of the cut test is with standard paper. This one's peeled right from a notebook. Happy New Year. Well, it's just such a thick blade. Okay, once it gets going. Okay. It seems to have trouble kind of biting just where the blade stock is so thick. You can tell it's sharp. It's definitely not a definitely not a precision cutter. But it is sharp. It is sharp. Next part of the cut test, we're going to cut some duct tape. And this duct tape is folded over itself 5 times. Something a little bit more heavy duty, but it's supposed to be a more heavy duty knife. Once again, it is sharp. It is just so freaking thick. It struggles to bite into things, but once it gets going. Next up, let's put it through some cardboard, because why not? It is thick. It just likes to grab, because I think, especially on the cardboard, it's starting to get hung up on that right there. But it is sharp. Not a slicer per se. It's not really designed for that precision slicing, but for those heavy-duty jobs. But it is definitely reasonably sharp, especially for how big of a knife it is and how thick that blade profile is. Next up, we will do some paracord cutting, just like always. Relatively easy. And let's move on to the thicker part of the paracord, just like last time. Saws through it pretty easily. I'll do just about cutting myself. So, there you have it. Final impressions of the knife. Is this the greatest EDC folder of all time? Absolutely not. Not even close. Is it fun? Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It's large. It's a Midgards Messer design that is affordable and easily accessible and still holds true to something that Midgards made, if that makes any sense. It's definitely a collector's piece. It is reasonably sharp, but it is not a precision slicer at all. Do I think it could be a good hard use knife? Maybe. Possibly. I mean, will it hold up to something that a cold steel will hold up to? Or perhaps even a Benchmade Adamas? I don't think so. But it's also, you know, not nearly the price as this. And it doesn't really set out like cold steel to be something super overbuilt and super tough. It sets out to be a collector's piece in Midgards that you can afford, something showy, something pocketable, without being too ridiculous, even though Midgards does make some ridiculously oversized knives, and this is definitely very large. This is something pocketable and useful enough that you could use it, even though really its primary objective is a showpiece from Midgards Messer. And I think that about wraps it up. It's a pretty good knife. It's very decent for what it is. Should you get one, are you looking for an EDC knife? Look elsewhere. Get a QSP Penguin. They're a fraction of the price. Get a Spyderco Tenacious. There's the Penguin. Both of these cost less and are much slicier, much better. Are you looking for a hard use knife? Get a Cold Steel. Get a Recon or a Formax. Well, if you really want to chill out to Benchmade, get you a Adamas. What? Are you looking for a Midgards Messer, but you don't have Midgards Messer money? Are you looking for a cool showpiece that is large and, frankly, a little outside practicality, but still fun? If you're looking for a fun knife, a new thing for the collection, and, you know, something that will work, even if not as effectively as knives like these, not as tough as something like this, but still something that is effective enough that you can carry, but is just fun. And, yeah, absolutely. I'd recommend one. 100%. Very cool knife. All right. Thank you guys so much. Please like, subscribe. Comments help me a lot. And Happy New Year.